Hi, I'm Dave Epstein. Welcome to this edition of Growing Wisdom. And today we're talking about some winter interests, some things in the garden that are really nice to have around when the snow flies. And eventually we will see snow. I'm actually just going to walk around a little bit and point out some of the wonderful things in my friend's garden here. You've got a lot of things that are evergreen, these epimediums here, relatively evergreen, making some nice ground cover. Of course, you have rhododendron, and when the temperature is above 32, they look okay. I'm not particularly a big fan as they get below 32, but what you've got here is this expanse of lawn bordered by evergreens. So this is a time of year where I think that this particular garden is absolutely stunning because you do have the evergreens, and it really does give a lot of interest. The cephalotaxis with the little bit of yellow there. You have spruces, you have other conifers, and they are all just stunning to give some interest in the garden. You can see here, this is actually a lindera, which holds its leaves. And these leaves will fall off when the new ones push out sometime in April. But the brown looks really nice, and it's also great cover for birds. Just have a little U there. We've got some dogwood with some nice yellow and some red. You also have some of the boxwoods here, which are particularly nice. You've got some arborvitaes, which are taller. Even the structure of the oak looking nice. You've got this beautiful pine tree, this multi-stemmed pine here, which I just find fascinating. The picea, another spruce, a weeping one there. You can see the pine. As you look in the distance, more conifers, the little bit of a sculpture kind of looking into the pond here. The weeping hemlock, which is very old, a very old specimen, sort of magical underneath here. And all of this being able to look out over the course of the winter to see this. Now, your yard is not going to be likely as extensive as this, but you can sort of pick and choose what you want to have in your garden that's going to give it some interest over the course of the winter. How can you make your yard something to look out at that's beautiful? Even things that are bare, that have structure, really do provide interest. They also provide lots of cover for birds as well. So I really love this backyard. I love looking out at it. I find that it's very peaceful, especially on a clear blue afternoon as the sun's starting to set, and you can just look out and see what are some amazing specimens of plants across this landscape. I started to edit the video, and obviously if you're looking, you're like, wait a second, there wasn't any snow on the ground. No, there wasn't. But I thought, I missed a couple of things. I missed a lot of things, right? I could make this video an hour long and not do it justice. But this is a river birch, and the structure in the winter is really fabulous when it loses its leaves and you have this structure like that to look out. And of course, it's not like a paper birch or white birch, but the bark does fleck, and it does have some white up top, which makes it really nice. And again, just a very nice winter interest tree. And we'll talk about bark of other trees in a second. As long as we're talking about bark, you also have some of the dogwoods here. So this is a beautiful dogwood with red stems, and you can see these, in holiday bunches. Sometimes they're sold, and that's kind of nice, the way the sun hits it. There's also, here goes Griffin, there's also yellow forms. So this, I think, is buds yellow, which is also a nice form of the bark. And again, I would just want to give you another wide shot from a different angle, and you can see different structure here of different plants, just really giving this just a beautiful garden in winter. One of the things that I think is underappreciated about winter interest is bark. So look at this cinnamon color here. This is a paper bark maple. And isn't it obvious why this is such a unique specimen for its bark? And you can see here just that wonderful color. Now, I lucked out. You know, the sun's beaming in on this at this point, so it really looks amazing. But, you know, this is a great little tree, and it doesn't get huge. Like, it's not a big shade tree. It stays pretty narrow. So paperbark maple may be something you want to put in your... I just want to also show you these weeping new contensis here. Fantastic evergreen with wonderful structure, and more conifers lining the back of the property with the higher deciduous trees behind there. Obviously, most folks do not have an extensive yard like this. This is a particularly beautiful private garden. One of those gardens where I'm fortunate to be able to show it to you. It's not my garden per se, but you know, being able to walk around here really is a wonderful treat. And as I've shown you in this, there are some amazing plants and just so much interest, even though the leaves are long since fallen. And the snow, well, it's yet to fall. For Growing Wisdom, I'm Dave Epstein.